I'm Dr. Samantha Durland.
And I'm Andrea Hootie.
And welcome to another episode of The Body Shop. Today, we're talking about that people should feel good.
Right. We have people tend to fall into categories if they are involved in sports. The three types of athletes that we have are the lateral reactive athlete, which is like a basketball player or a defensive back in football. We have the rotational athlete, which is like a golfer. Who else is a rotation?
Like
a pitcher. And then the linear athlete, which gets good at running patterns and runs a straight line and uses momentum. And then with those three types of athletes, there's body typing. So the lateral reactive athlete tends to have a little bit more muscle, and they can create force pretty quickly.
Yeah.
The rotational athlete, so they tend to have a lot more muscle, so they're mesomorphic. Then the rotational athlete tends to be a little bit, have a little less muscle mass. So we call them endomorphic. And then there's the linear athlete who is ectomorphic. So they tend to be long and lean.
Oh, it's so fun because when I was reading Hootie's book, it was so awesome because it helps me understand myself and it helps me understand others too, because you are your own body. I can't make my body be an endomorph because my body carries more muscle mass, and so that would actually mean that I'm sick. But on the flip side of that too, if I want to be the best I can be, I have to just embrace the body type that I have.
Right. So the book is called Power Positions, and it's right here.
Oh, and it's so cool because it helps you understand how that there's different types of activities at different ways of life and different times of life that you train to help you get the best performance for your body, because it's so easy to get stuck in this place that you think this feels comfortable and I want to do more of the same thing.
And just because you get stronger doesn't mean that you're better.
Oh.
Right? Because it needs to be a specific strength, and then when you get really good at what you're doing, we want to kind of offset that so that there's health involved. And that can lead into the long-term development of an athlete, of a healthy athlete, or an individual.
It's so exciting because when we were talking about rolling the other day, it was, it's like when you talk about motion, it's almost like a hot fudge sundae with the ice cream and the hot fudge and the sprinkles and the cherries, about how you put it all together. And so it's so fun to listen to you talk because I understand so much more about the fundamentals that help you kind of build upon things. And so, it's so exciting.
So the first athlete that we'll talk about is a lateral reactive athlete and the specific qualities that make that athlete really good. So the lateral reactive athlete, again, is mesomorphic, or they tend to carry a little bit more muscle. They can create force at a high rate so that they can stop really quickly. So it's like a Ferrari.
Got
right?
it.
A Ferrari, you can accelerate, decelerate. It's on a tight suspension. It makes quick, jerky moves. It tends to have a wider body as compared to another car, maybe that's not a sports car or a funny car, which is like the linear athlete. So what's it take to keep that Ferrari on the road? It takes a lot of recovery because there's a lot of muscle. And there's a lot of performance reps that we need to set off with long, healthy reps, like yoga. So yoga is good for those people to stay healthy.
And it's so contrary to what, like, if you're explosive and powerful, a lot of people that I talk to, the last thing they want to do is do yoga because they're like, but I don't feel good about doing yoga.
Right.
And I'm like, that's because you're supposed to do yoga.
Yeah, just because you can jump really high or squat a lot or bench press a lot doesn't mean that you should do that all the time. Again, we want to offset that and save those qualities, because more isn't necessarily always better. It's like driving that Ferrari. You're not going to drive it with the pedal to the metal the whole time.
That's a really great analogy, because there's so many times too when I see folks in the office, they benchmark their health by how strong they're getting in the gym.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that that is really health. You kind of have to really think of your body in a different way.
No, yeah, and I don't have a high-end sports car, but everybody that I talk to that has a high-end sports car, it's in the shop once a month, because it is on tight suspension.
Yeah.
And you need to take care of it. But I think just because you're strong or explosive, people tend to show off those capabilities, which is great, because I feel like that's how I was as an athlete. But I was always hurt. And those high-performing reps can cause injury.
Well, that is it for today's episode, and tune in for next time when we talk about yet another type of athlete.